So, guys, there's an allegation going on that Atiku is set to join P2B in NDC coalition because the INEC is trying not to recognize Atiku's faction in ADC. Because in ADC, we have different factions, but INEC is refusing to recognize Atiku's faction. So, Atiku is set to join P2B in NDC coalition against Tinubu in the next election. Here, it says that breaking, Atiku Abubakar is allegedly set to join NDC coalition to support P2B after INEC allegedly declined to recognize the David Mark faction and instead uploaded the Bala Gombe faction's presidential candidates. They refused to recognize Atiku's faction, which is the David Mark faction, just to upload Bala Gombe's faction as the candidate from ADC. So now Atiku is set to join P2B in NDC. Like I said, these two allegations yet to be proven. And now let's talk about the INEC. Chidi Odekalo came out and said that the politicians don't need our vote to get to power. Who do they need? The judges. That is why Nyesom Wike is building mansions for judges. That is why state governors are donating Prados and Land Cruisers to judges across the states. That is why they are making sure judges are the best paid people in Nigeria. Meanwhile, governors who cannot pay the minimum wages are feeding judges with this kind of money and emolument you cannot adopt. I got to watch the video from Chidi Odekalo. He also said that INEC can simply write results, no need for election. Odekalo wants polls may be reduced to charade. Because tell me why this INEC and court are moving hand in hand. First of all, they tried to remove NDC, but the NDC refused. Now they are trying to not to recognize Atiku's faction and bring in a faction that they know that they can defeat. Because like this now, it's like APC trying to remove every opposition that will be an issue for them. He said that INEC can simply write results, no need for next election. He warns against polls may be reduced to charade. They might turn election to be as if there's no need, because right now INEC have made it look like our vote cannot count or our vote do not count. But Obi, I want to tell you that let's come out and do our part. Get the PVC, vote, and then make sure your vote counts. That is our duty as Nigerian to do. But meanwhile, let me get your views in the comments. I watch the video from Chidi Odekalo and the rest of them. Let me get your views about that. And please subscribe if you are new to my channel. See you guys in my next video.
The politicians don't need our votes to get to power. Who do they need? The judges. That is why Wike is building mansions for judges. That is why state governors are donating Prados and Land Cruisers to judges across the states. That is why they are making sure judges are the best paid people in Nigeria. And meanwhile, governors who cannot pay minimum wage are feeding judges with the kind of money and emoluments and free prey that you cannot add up and cannot declare. Because citizens don't care.
So, but Prof, you think buying houses and giving vehicles to judges are wrong?
By politicians? Of course I think it's wrong. You think I'm going to pull back from that and tell you it is very right? It is wrong.
To help them do their jobs well, make them
Excuse me, what happened
so
to
that
judicial
they are not
budgets?
susceptible to
what happened to judicial budgets?
Influence.
Now, okay, so a governor has money or thinks they have money to give to procurement of vehicles for judges. Why is that not in the judicial budget?
So anything that anyone... Because in the code of conduct for judicial officers, it is given that there is an amount, there is a level of gifting that any judge can subject himself or herself to.
No.
But it's in the code of conduct
Go
that
and read
you cannot receive
precisely
gifts. Do you amount these kind of houses or vehicles to this kind of gifts?
Absolutely, yes.
So,
as a matter of fact,
any judge that receives this vehicle or house has breached the code of judicial conduct.
As far as if I'm a lawyer arguing before a court in Nigeria, and you have received, and I'm in a case involving a state governor or a state government, and you have received a car, I will seek to recuse you. As a matter, I will not negotiate it. I will recuse you, or you will sack me from your court. But I will not continue doing a case before you if you have received a vehicle from a governor. And if you're a chief judge and you're assigning a case, having received a car from a governor, I'll fight you to the end if I were a lawyer in the state. I won't. This is the point. And now we all have to make accommodations for these things. I practiced law. I started off legal practice at a time in this country when that was unheard of. I've been a lawyer in this country for nearly 40 years. Okay? I started off before the law entirely left me. And I'm happy that it left me because there are things I can no longer understand. This is the same country in which Alison Madueke, when he became military governor of Anambra State, old Anambra State in 1984, summoned Emmanuel Araka, who was the chief judge of Anambra State at the time. Araka declined to go to the office of the state governor because he found it incompatible with his status as a judge. And he was seeking accommodation for them to meet in a neutral place. Alison Madueke summoned him a second time. He declined. Alison Madueke went to Tunde Idiagbon and asked Tunde Idiagbon, it is either that man is fired or you get rid of me. And because Alison Madueke, although he was a Navy captain, he was senior to Tunde Idiagbon. Okay? Alison Madueke was in regular course 1 of the Nigerian Defense Academy. He only lost seniority as a result of the Civil War. All right? But actually his mates were Aliu Gusau and the lot.
Yeah.
Okay? So he was in Oladipo Dia and all that. So as a result, they looked at Tunde Alison Madueke, and what did they do? He told him fire him. They fired Emmanuel Araka as a result. 1984. Okay? Now, why did they fire him? Because he asserted his independence as a chief judge of the state. We had judges in this country, and we still do, by the way, who are not willing to bend to the caprice of temporal power for the purpose of keeping office. But now they are endangered. And it is important to remember that the judicial office is not one where you go to beg for cars in order to do your work. These days, if you're independent, you don't get a car. Your orderly is withdrawn. You're sent to a court where the roof is leaking, and you're sent to a place where you're endangered without protection. That is what they do to the judges who are today willing to be independent and truthful to their judicial oaths.
So you think independence largely has been thrown out of the window in Nigerian judiciary
Manifestly.
system? Are we in danger?
Who are we?
The people of Nigeria.
Are we not living with it at the moment? That is why violence is rising, because lawyers are going to hire heavies, are going to hire thugs to recover debt rather than go to court. You know, mechanisms of mediation and arbitration are not working because you cannot trust them anymore to work. People, you have court orders that are not being respected. I'm not even going to... what is his name? Alhaji Maman, the immediate past, the former minister for energy, right? Power, who was convicted. He was convicted in absentia, wasn't he? Was he in court when he was convicted? To the best of your knowledge, is that compatible with the standards of criminal procedure that you've been taught?
You must, when your trial is being opened, your charges must be read to you. When in the close of trial, on judgment, you must be in the dock, standing to receive your trial.
Nobody found that incongruous, that we were convicting a person who was not in court. It seemed all normal. And it is because of the embarrassment and, the rising public askance that they went and looked and took him back from where they secreted him. Because quite clearly, I cannot understand how a person of that seniority could have been undergoing trial while being absent from court, and nobody was worried about that. And so when the public askance started rising, they went and just collected him back from where they had secreted him in Kaduna. That it does not bother any of us.
Prof, yet another statement that...
So I'm going around asking people, do not shy away from politics. Peter Obi is not asking you today for vote for Peter Obi. I'm asking you to sit down and scrutinize all those that are offering themselves for election. Put all of us on a scale. Let's know who we are. Let's ask questions who we are. Let's verify who we are. Do not vote for me because I'm an Igbo man. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the West. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the North. This is time to vote a human being who have conscience and trust. So if Peter Obi is not the one, if Peter Obi is not the one to be trusted, don't vote for him. Don't vote for him because he gave you money. Because he will steal your money. This is the time. We have 7 months. You have 7 months to ask questions. Who is Peter Obi? Where did he go to school? Who are his families? Don't listen to our grammar. This is time to ask about people's lifestyle. Where they live, how they live, everything. That is what we need now. Don't listen to our promises. Ask questions. The ones we promised in the past, how did we keep it? Please be seated. Let me thank all the AG members that are here. We are all children of God, so I'm an AG member. As I was coming here, I was asking the question on issue of university and issue of education. As you know, I'm particularly about the education. And I thank you and all the AG members for the prayers. Let me assure all of you, we need prayers in our country. We need prayers in our country. By the time I finish, I will tell you your prayer points. Because part of why I believe we are getting it wrong is that our prayer points needs to change. I'll give you the prayer points when I end. For me, I am sincerely grateful and appreciative of this opportunity. And like our Father in faith have said, it's not a political rally. But I also said to the church, do not walk away from politics. The church walking away from politics is part of what we are suffering. The church members live in a nation. The sufferings that are going on today are AG members and church members. When you walk away from politics, people suffer. The church doesn't have a place where their members buy food cheaper. Do they have? So the church can't keep quiet. We kept quiet enough. We cannot allow a situation we find ourselves in Nigeria today where lunatics have taken over the asylum. Nigeria cannot continue the way it's going today. And it's your prayers. Your prayers is you're not asking for anything more. You're asking just for good governance. You're asking them hope to build a place for your children. We want to give the children of this country hope. We're asking for more. We have 100 million Nigerians living in poverty. We have our young ones who have gone to school without job, without a future. They're not asking for anything. They want an opportunity to earn a living. It is not too much for their country to give them. So I'm going around asking people, do not shy away from politics. Peter Obi is not asking you today for vote for Peter Obi. I'm asking you to sit down and scrutinize all those that are offering themselves for election. Put all of us on a scale. Let's know who we are. Let's ask questions who we are. Let's verify who we are. Do not vote for me because I'm an Igbo man. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the West. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the North. This is time to vote a human being who have conscience and trust. So if Peter Obi is not the one, if Peter Obi is not the one to be trusted, don't vote for him. Don't vote for him because he gave you money. Because he will steal your money. This is the time. We have 7 months. You have 7 months to ask questions. Who is Peter Obi? Where did he go to school? Who are his families? Don't listen to our grammar. Don't even look at our certificates. Yes, you can ask me when to question. But remember that the educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. There's so many criminals that went to school. There's so many people who went to school who are criminals. This is time to ask about people's lifestyle. Where they live, how they live, everything. That is what we need now. Don't listen to our promises. Ask questions. The ones we promised in the past, how did we keep it? That is important. This country is not productive. Our Father in the Lord have said because of sit at home. These are all that were caused by bad leadership. You can't have 100 million people who don't know where the next meal will come from, and you have security. No. It is all that caused it. Insecurity have been fought in other countries of the world, in South America, in Asia. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. People's businesses are collapsing. Our children are not in school. People are dying because there's no health care. Nothing. This is time to ask questions about all of us. I only ask for prayers. Not prayers for me, but prayers for Nigeria. Prayers that Nigeria do not make mistake. Prayers that will start electing people with conscience. People with fear of God. Everybody here is a child of God. Peter Obi is not better than anybody here. It's God that gave us power, gave us position to use it to serve humanity, but we have used it to serve ourselves. And that is what we need to question now. And like I said, do not listen to politicians, including me, talk. Go and verify. We know how to speak sweet things, but go and verify. From our homes, ask even our wives, our children, who their father is, how he lives at home, his relationship with his wife. I thank you for the opportunity. It was prayers that I asked. And let me tell you, as I end, because I said it's not a political gathering, maybe in November, our Father in the Lord will authorize me to then talk about politics, because we'll be campaigning then. Today is prayers. But let me tell you what your prayer point will be. As you go on now, do not pray for Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the best places God created in the surface of the earth. Nigeria have a 900 and 23,000 square kilometers of land. Fertile land. Some other people don't have it. Nigeria is 200 million people. But because of bad political leadership, it's unproductive. All we do here is sharing, sharing, sharing. No producing. I've studied about 31 countries and found out that God blessed Nigeria. He gave them everything, but gave them bad leadership. And that cannot continue.
PC government are so scared of opposition because tell me why they want to recognize Atiku's faction and recognize a faction that I don't even know the person's name. Nobody knows the person. That's the faction they want to recognize because they know that they don't want anything that will be a hindrance for their success in the next election. Okay, what have you done for Nigerians that should guarantee you the win you are looking for in the next election? Nothing. There is nothing we can hold on and boast of and say that this government did for Nigerians or that Nigerians benefited from this government. Rather, everything is going down under APC government. Everything is going down under this APC government. And the government don't even care about if they are failed. They don't care if they are doing well. All they want to do, they want to remain in power. They want to keep taking our public funds. They want to keep living this kind of lifestyle that they get from politics. Because it's the only politics that can give that kind of money, that can paint, that can sponsor that lifestyle. They are building houses for judges. They are buying cars for judges. Governors are spending money trying to make judges to be well paid in Nigeria so that they can be able to win the next election. This is just what they are doing. They are busy spending money. They can't campaign with what they've achieved. Let me get your views in the comment. I'll be guys in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, guys.